I mean, the way you can siege on this map, the way you can expand to bases, and the critical thing about Antigua Shipyard, guys, is the center position. One watchtower on the entire map. Terran players, if they can muscle themselves away around roach aggression and any kind of, pressure from the Zerg and get themselves towards the mid stage and start taking expansions, critically speaking, is just this one. Can be very, very hard for Zerg players to kind of recover in this game. But this is game number 2. And we have spawning in the 12 o'clock-ish position, spawning for Complexity Gaming. It is the STC. He's going to be our blue Terran. Of course, his opponent at the 6 o'clock position, currently 1 up in this best of 7 series. It is LGIMRagnaroK. Alright, so Ragnarok, last game, showing us how to use roach drops in Terran versus Zerg, and really abusing the mobility of the mech army. And now the STC, definitely a player that has a very high winning percentage when it comes to Terran versus Zerg in Heart of the Swarm. Last time I checked, it was about 68%. So we'll see what he can show in this game. I mean, he's definitely he can easily take games off Ragnarok, but the same applies to our Zerg players. So far, it looks like STC just going to get a barracks. See if it's going to be any sort of second barracks. Actually, it's going to be a gas. So this has me thinking that STC is going to be going for very, very early Reaper play in this game, which is very good for scouting. But as well, if he wants to commit to Reapers and make 5 of them, Ragnarok is gonna need a Roach Warren to be able to deal with it. But so far, Ragnarok, if you guys looked before, he was kind of scouting around the 3rd for any kind of proxy racks, so he's very, very map aware. Doesn't want to be losing to any kind of 2 racks pressure from his opponent. There is the Reaper in the production tab for the STC, so we'll see what he can make happen. He's going to come in here. He's going to be able to see that it is a 15 hatch from Ragnarok, as well as a 16 pool follow-up. A little bit different. STC is not going for a command center first, so Ragnarok does not have the freedom of going into this very, eco play with this quick 3rd command center, or 3rd hatchery. Wow, Terrans. Imagine if Zergs can make command centers with mules. That would be the race. Alright, so natural expansion very close to finishing here for Ragnarok. We're going to see 6 links in the production tab. We're seeing double queen production as well. We'll see if he's going to be going up to maybe 4 queens, which is a little bit of a Wings of Liberty style, or is he going to opt to go for a quick Roach Warren? Reaper comes in the main base. Ragnarok still not reacting. 6 links are going to finish. 1 kill there on that Reaper, so nice little harassment. Probably say it's a success for the STC. Just does not want to lose that Reaper. Okay, so it looks like he's going to fly it out there as if he never came in there in the first place. But now it's going to be 2 Reapers. And soon to be 3 Reapers. We're seeing another Reaper in the production tab for the STC. Command Center is going to be able to complete the wall off here at the natural. So we are not going to be seeing a very aggressive 1 base all-in play. He's just going to expand behind it, getting a factory. Reapers still continuing to scout. More drones in the production tab for Ragnarok. Workers lost up to 2. So STC now actually going to be up to 3. So this is just map control for the STC. That's kind of what he has to do with these Reapers. That's all. Just control watchtowers, run around. He's been very good here, trying to focus down even more drones. Might get 2 drones. That would be so good for the STC. Now he's going to have to 3 Reapers. Okay, so this is actually a little bit annoying for Ragnarok. It's so funny watching just slow speedlings fight against Reapers. It's just, it makes my day, guys. So Ragnarok's going to have to start teching relatively soon if he wants to maybe grab 1 or 2 gases or even get a few spine crawlers for a little bit of defense. But now we're going to see these Reapers still continuing to make their way towards the natural. Ragnarok's going to be up to 4 queens, so he should be pretty safe against these Reapers. Now the follow-up for the STC. Adding a barracks, command center has completed. Looks like it's going to be a very quick 3rd expansion for the STC. Factory as well with Widow Mines in the production tab, so he's going to transition into... Pretty common transition off of Reapers. You sometimes can see players go into Widow Mines and then later into Siege Tanks. But the good thing here now is the STC is going to be able to secure that natural. But something I want to note about the build order for the STC. This is very, very greedy. He went 1 Rax Command Center, got a 3rd Command Center before even getting the factory. So This can be very susceptible to early roach aggression if Ragnarok decides to do that, but it does not seem like he's going to be aggressive anytime soon. He's just focusing on his economy, getting up to 40 drones compared to 28 SCVs, getting his creep across the map. Of course, creep's still very, very important in Heart of the Swarm. But this build, looks like it's really going to pay off, actually, for the STC. He has not experienced any kind of pressure. He's been very good at keeping Ragnarok on his side of the map, but the Reapers might actually lose one Reaper. One Reaper dies. The other one's going to be able to escape. Unfortunately, the brother is not going to be alive very long, guys. Sorry, Reaper. You're going to be alone. We got no more babies in the production tab. Going to be that one lone Reaper. So now the third CC has finished for the STC. Like that nice little rhyme. I know, that was pretty clever. And now we're going to see another factory. Actually, two factories. Going to finish here very shortly. Tech lab's completed, so we are possibly going to be seeing a transition into siege tanks. Pretty sure this is going to be a tech lab as well onto that factory. But now Ragnarok, is he going to take a third? Even if he was, this Widow Mine is going to be so annoying for Ragnarok to deal with. He's going to have to make an Overseer to be able to clear this out. And he has no idea that that's even there. So Ragnarok, we'll see if he's going to take a third expansion right now. Still just focusing on creep. Has been very committed to this 2-base play and taking very aggressively off of 2-base. Layer is halfway completed for Ragnarok. It looks like it's going to be a double evolution chamber transition. So he's going to be very heavy on these Zerg melee units. Possibly just going to be roaches. If he's going to go Spire, which is not really common a lot in Zerg versus Terran, you're usually not going to be going for double evolution chambers. You can't really afford that much gas to be consistently producing Mutalisks. And of course focusing on upgrades. The STC is still just scouting around with this Viking. He will be able to secure that third expansion. Now we are going to be seeing these siege tanks in the production tab for the STC. And that's the thing about this map. Antigua Shipyard really gives you options to siege around between your natural and your third to kind of create a little bit of a concave to force your opponent into. And now we're going to see a little bit of Lings running around. We'll be able to pick off that Hellion. Another hatchery. Looks like it's going to be the third. So Ragnarok was, in fact, successful in clearing that Widow Mine. And he's going to be on 3 bases very soon. Getting centrifugal hooks as well. So Zergling, Baneling, Mutalisk. Okay, so he is, in fact, going to be going Mutas. So double upgrades, Mutalisks. He's had these gas up for a little bit of time. And he's soon to have this Zergling speed. Nice little run by here by the Lynx by Ragnarok. We'll be able to spot the third expansion here of the STC. And we'll see what he can do with these mutas. I'm a little bit... Mech. Okay, this can actually work in the favor of Ragnarok now that I think about it. Mech has not really been focused a lot on anti-air. It's mainly just been siege tanks, Hellbats, a lot of ground, beefy units that do a lot of splash damage. So if the STC can actually scout the Spire, he's going to have to do a transition into Vikings. Now, if I look at his vision strictly, he does not see what tech his opponent's going for. He has not even scouted the double evolution chambers. So this Mutalisk play might catch the STC a little bit off guard. He has the armory, he's continuing to make his upgrades, going very heavy on these siege tanks, making some more Hellions, of course, and getting another factory. So a lot of mech. Going to be soon to come here for the STC. His third has been up for some time. Definitely want to send a few SCVs to go ahead and get it saturated, up to 63 to 62. So a little bit of an advantage, but these Hellbats in the center of the map, Ragnarok will be able to clean it up, and STC will actually be able to lift up 2 of them. The other 2 are going to die. So Ragnarok, with this creep spread, actually sees a huge portion of the map. Has been very, very active with these creep tumors. And there's the 13 Mutalisks in production tab for Ragnarok. How much damage can these mutas actually do? They're going to go ahead and rally up. 13 mutas is a lot at this point for Ragnarok. And there's no turrets for the STC, just mainly siege tanks and Hellbats. And I want to see what the STC is going to do once he scouts out these Mutalisks. Ragnarok's still actually just hiding them. Looks like he's going to go when he has more. Okay, now he's up to 12. The STC still making the mech force with the siege tanks, Hellbats. 148 supply to 127. This is, again, the siege position. Look at that beautiful wall off by the STC with the evolution chamber, or with the engineering bay, and the supply depots. But all of a sudden, these Mutalisks are going to make their way, and in fact, it's going to be Thor. So best transition here. Vikings are, of course, good Not so good against Mutalisks because you can just, produce a lot of Mutalisks. But the Thor's great option for the STC. A little bit late, though. Look at all these siege tanks. They're going to be vulnerable, and now the STC going to have to do something against these Mutalisks. He is making some turrets around his bases, but these Mutalisks are still unanswered from RagnaroK. Continuing to be annoying. Might even focus down some SCVs at the natural expansion. We'll be able to get 1, 2, workers lost count, actually up to 14. And the STC has had enough. He's telling himself, okay, RagnaroK, do whatever you want with the mutas. I'm going to push in the center of the map. The Thor is going to pop out. Not going to magic box. Immediately, STC is going to pull the SCVs to go ahead and try to repair the store. But this is the problem. The center of the map. RagnaroK's going to be able to spot it. The Thors are so slow. They're actually in the main base. So RagnaroK might actually be able to get himself a few more siege tank and hellbat kills. And he's not making more mutas. Okay, so this is kind of cool from RagnaroK. And it would not be the best option to continue to make mutas when your opponent's going into Thor. So his transition is going to be into Roaches. He only made the initial 12 to kind of just, do a little bit of tech transition to force STC to make these Thors. And now we're going to see Roaches and Hydralisks and an Infestation Pit. Okay, so this is a good amount of tech right now for RagnaroK, but the problem is going to be this position by the STC. Is RagnaroK going to have enough time to get the Hydralisks and get the speed and the upgrades and the pathogen glands for these Infestors, or is it going to be Vipers? Probably going to be Vipers. But look at that siege position by the STC. He's even going to spot this 4th expansion of RagnaroK. Immediately he's going to send these drones away because he does not want to deal with it. But STC, slowly but surely getting position of the center part of the map. And now we're going to see the Mutalisks still do a little bit of damage, picking off more siege tanks. Thors are going to be able to obliterate these Mutalisks, actually trying to pick off a medevac as well. But RagnaroK now still making Roaches. How many does he have on the map? 42 Roaches, 1 Mutalisk, 16 Banlings. This expansion is going to die for RagnaroK. So now he's once again stuck on this 3-base economy. And look at this again. He's doing the Roach drops once again into these Overlords. But STC not going to have any of it. He's going to go back home with the siege tanks and the Hellbats. And that's the power of the Roach drops. It's so good at... If your siege tanks are clumped up and a whole bunch of Roaches drop on top of them, they are going to die. So RagnaroK looks like he's still going to go for it. I'm not too sure I agree with this, though, from RagnaroK. The siege tanks need to siege up, though. That might be a little bit of a victory here for RagnaroK. Going to drop right on top of these siege tanks. Everything's getting cleaned up. The STC losing so much, and oh my god. RagnaroK easily going to be able to clean all of these siege tanks. 2-1 upgrades, and he's still just rallying more Roaches. Roaches seem to be the answer in Terran versus Zerg, ladies and gentlemen. Just mass Roaches against mech. Stay on top of your upgrades, but, I mean, RagnaroK's just hitting a very, very good timing. The STC unfortunately not able to get the center position. STC with 102 supply. Roaches marching their way into the main base. Even some Roaches at the natural expansion. And the STC, meanwhile, is going to send a Hellbat drop at the 3rd expansion. But I feel like it's a little bit too late for the STC, unfortunately. He is going to lose a lot of these factories. He's still making more siege tanks. The RagnaroK can basically remax here very soon onto Roaches. He actually has more Roaches at the natural expansion. But he actually lost quite a few drones, down to 54, but these Roaches are still unanswered, man. Siege tank getting picked off, the STC going to throw out the towel with the GG RagnaroK, playing so well in this best of 7 show match.